this is iZonk, thanks for tuning in. A couple of weeks ago I put a poll on the website asking you guys what character you want to see more content about, and of course the majority chose Cody. So in this video I'm using a new Twitch overlay. Subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'm gonna talk about Season 3 Cody when he first was released, because this character was pretty mediocre, low tier even, and they buffed it patch after patch. So in this video we'll look at his specials, his V system and his neutral, and I'll show you how far along this character came in becoming relevant in Street Fighter V. Let's go. Alright, so right now I'm in the surrounding of Season 3 Cody, and we're gonna look at his neutral first to see how much that has changed over time, because his neutral is the staple of his entire game plan, and it was a lot less efficient in Season 3. First off, his medium kick. This is how the pressure starts off, because this is a quick button. It has a really good hitbox, it's hard to whiff punish, it's only 7 frames startup, plus 7 on hit, plus 3 on block, so this is his jack of all trade moves. And initially this button was 8 frame startup, so this was slower, meaning you can combo into itself, it's slower in neutral, and the hitbox wasn't as good as it is right now. Next up is his stand medium punch. This was worse both on hit and on block. First on block, it is -2 on block, so meaning this is the end of his turn, and they buffed that to 0 on block so that he can keep going, right? This all becomes a little bit more viable to do. On hit, they extended the cancel window, so you can now confirm it. You can visually see it hit, you go into the zonk for a good situation. Initially you could not confirm, you just had to do it, so if they would happen to block that, you'll zonk on block, your intro range at -2, not a good situation to be in. So these long range buttons here, a lot worse, right? Next up is the stand heavy punch, and this was probably one of the biggest changes. This was a 7 frame heavy. It's used as an anti-air a lot, but it had a really bad hitbox against cross-ups. But being 6 frames now also really helps in his frame traps. So his light kick, this is a thing, right? This into this, that frame traps. This into this, that frame traps. So these are really rewarding options that you couldn't use initially. And to make it even worse is the second hit here, it's not special canceling. So I'm going into a ruffian here. Doesn't work, right? So the only way you can use this heavy punch in combos is after a medium punch. It's something going like that, right? But if you are not point blank and you're like 1 step behind here, this already doesn't work. See? So it's not consistent. And also for damage purposes, this scales more. This scales as 1, 2 hits. Then you go into the special for the 3rd hit and go into the CA for the 4th hit, for example. While both hits of heavy punch only count as 1 hit. So this is much more efficient to go into a medium ruffian into CA. So this button is a lot worse. Next up is this crouching heavy punch. We have to go to a different setting here where we get counter hit. Let's put our lovely assistant in the middle of the screen so we can observe him a little bit better. And this crouching heavy punch was not a crush counter. See, just a regular counter hit. So all you get here is a normal into a special, just like his medium, for instance. All it does is a little bit more damage. So that's not really good at all. And not having a 9 frame crush counter is a big deal for Cody's neutral, because his buttons are plus on block, +3, +2, +3, +2. So people are they're gonna be annoyed by these buttons, right? They're pretty quick and they're all plus. So they're gonna try to take their turn back. If you put that crouching heavy punch behind that here, if they stick out a limb, they get crush countered. You can visually see them getting crush countered, go into a ruffian, get a good knockdown. This is a way for Cody to win neutral, right? So not having this is definitely a big deal, especially because the alternative is his stand heavy kick. And this is 15 frame startup, very slow, and on block it's -4, it pushes him forward, so that's punishable, right? So having a 9 frame crush counter is definitely a big deal. Next up is his crouching light kick. They reduce the pushback on crouching light kick. And it's also important because he doesn't have this 3 hit confirm in this version of the game. And that's important because if you knock people down here, you are point blank, they walk back, they don't block low, or they block the first hit and they try to backdash, right? You couldn't punish it. And now you can, so if they walk back, you can get this punish, right? That's good. Also his throw game, if we're talking about a strike throw game. His forward throw does 10 more damage. His back throw does 30 more damage and 50 more stun. So his throws are much more rewarding now, making the strike throw mix-up more dangerous. His forward heavy kick. If this counter hits, all you get in this version of the game is a V skill. But currently, you can link to a crouching light punch. Yeah, crouching light punch. And going to a medium ruffian, you get more damage, you get a better knockdown. So not having that kind of sucks. Next up, we have his jump in game. His jump medium kick had a worse hitbox, so this tends to hit, to whiff. Same goes for his air raid kick. This only hits in front. If you cross up with it, it doesn't hit. So they buffed the hitbox on that, giving it more damage, giving it better hit stun, better block stun. So this is a lot better as a move now. We also have the sweep. They reduced the recovery by 4 frames. So the knockdown is a little bit better. And it's harder to whiff punish, but you don't want to be whiffing sweeps in neutral. So that's not really a big deal in my opinion. Last but not least is his overhead. This used to be 0 on hit, mind you. So if Cody did an overhead and a hit, he had to block because 3-frame characters would beat him out of a rebuttal there, right? Now it's +1, not great, but at least you can trade with 3-framers. You can put it on 4-framers. So that's a lot better. So this is worse, this is worse, this is worse, this is much worse, this is worse, this is worse, this is worse, this is worse. Basically, his entire neutral game was worse in every aspect of it, and his neutral is his most important aspect. So, yeah, big buffs in this department. Next up, his special moves. Alright, so in this section we're looking at Cody's special moves, and we're going to start off with his signature Zonk Knuckle. On hit, this used to be +2 in throw range, so that's good for a frame trap. But they made that into a +3, and that has some implications. First of all, if you want to walk out of the range of your opponent, shimmying from that +3, being +3 is much easier than +2, because having that extra frame of advantage makes it easier to get out of the range of the throw of your opponent. And that works in conjunction with the buff that Cody's walk speed. His back walk speed has been buffed slightly, so he walks back a little bit faster, and he has 1 more frame of advantage, making a shimmy here, walking out, see the throw tag, and then punishing him. This is a lot better now. This is easier to do, more likely to connect. So that's good. Also, being +3 means you no longer have to frame trap with a crouching light punch here, but with a crouching medium punch, meaning if that counter hits, you get another medium, go into the EX Ruffian, get more damage from the same situation. That's also a really good thing to have, right? More damage, always welcome. They didn't stop there with the damage buffs, because they gave him a completely new move, which is the level 2 Zonk. You hold the punch button for 5 seconds straight. You are no longer +3 on hit, but +5 on hit. That means you no longer have to go into a mix-up. You can go into a combo right away. So that's a lot better. Much more damage from your hits. And that works really great in conjunction with the medium punch buff, because this medium punch, this is now confirmable, right? So you're playing neutral here, annoying him with that medium kick, see that medium punch hit, and then you can go into the level 2 Zonk, see that hit, and you can go into a combo and get a decent knockdown, right? So something like, oh, it hit, alright, that's good, bang, go into iZonk, for instance, get a great knockdown, good damage. So that level 2 Zonk makes his damage output that much better. It's really good. Same goes for iZonk. Level 2 iZonk actually buffs his advantage on hit and on block. First on hit, it gives him a wall bounce, meaning you can get really crazy combos, right? Stuff like this, you can do that now. You get the damage out of it. So good. If I have him block here, the advantage here from iZonk is normally +3 on block, which is really good, but you're not in throw range, so you have to fake your way over, you have to walk forward a bit. But if you do level 2 iZonk on block, you're no longer +3, you are now +5, meaning it's easier to actually hit them there, so you can walk forward, and this is much harder to guard for the opponent, so that's really good to have. Next up is Tornado game. They made Light Tornado a lot faster, so that's good. His Medium Tornado goes further now, also good to have. And his Heavy Tornado looks like this. This is now slower, so you can double dash behind it. Really good. So you throw this double dash and you're in their face, right? Really good. Also on hit, this used to be -2 or 0. This is now usually +2 on hit. So that's also good, means Cody can continue his pressure. Now most importantly about his tornado game is the EX Tornado. This is his best approach tool because this used to have 2 hits of projectiles. So if somebody throws an EX Hadouken and Cody throws the EX Tornado, they're going to cancel each other out. They made this have 3 hits of projectile invincibility. So if Ryu does EX Hadouken, it takes away 2 hits of Cody's projectile, leaves still 1 hit on the screen, so he can walk behind that and put people into a strike throw mix-up, making this one of the best approach tools in the game. So that's the good stuff. Next up is his Ruffian, Light Ruffian. So Medium Ruffian, Medium Ruffian is the combo ender for using light buttons. And this used to have a +1 knockdown after dash. So if you dash up here, this will be +1. So if Ryu or a 3-frame character mashes that 3-frame, Cody does not have a 3-frame, just a 4-frame. So he loses his advantage. So in the worst case scenario of the defender, he can just mash and he gets a trade. So you should always wake up with a jab here. They make that into a +2 knockdown, meaning you can now actually meet them. They can no longer mash with quick rise here. You basically force them to back rise because on back rise you're still out of throw range here. So this is not a great knockdown. So people need to back rise here. But that's good because that means they roll to the corner a little further, right? Also the on block advantage here. If I have on guard here, doing this in neutral is a bit more viable. This used to be -10 to -6. They changed that to -8 to -4 depending on the spacing. If you space this correctly, something like this, you are now -4. So if people takes his turn back and he whiffs, like here, you whiff, you can get crush counted by Cody, right? It's a spacing trap. So that's pretty annoying. Next up is this Pocket Sand. Have Ryu attack us here. It's this wake up 3-frame button. And this used to be +5 on counter hit, meaning you had to go into the target combo, which is alright. You can switch sides here, it's pretty good, right? But they changed this and they made this +7 on counter hit, meaning you can now get a heavy punch. You can now get a real combo here. It's much better, right? Look at the reward you get from mashing and quick rise. That's almost 50% damage, really good. What they also did is they changed the priority. So this used to be seen as a light. It's now a heavy, meaning if you meet me with a light or a heavy, which is 100% of the cast, I'm going to hit you now. I get priority. There we go. Now, I do have to say that this looks really good, but this has over 20 frame startup, so it gets really good players. Pakistan doesn't really work. This is more of a scrub killer. Oh, I missed it. Alright, next up is this V system. Alright, so we're back here in the Season 3 surrounding of Cody, and we're gonna look at his V system, especially his V trigger one, because this has been buffed in so many aspects. This is a completely different V trigger in my opinion. Let me show you. First of all, just using it became a lot cheaper. So you can see, you can throw the knife 4 times here and then you deplete the bar. They're gonna make that much cheaper. They can now toss it 7 times instead of just 4 times. So that is a massive buff. You get twice the value for the same 2-bar V trigger. You can use that a lot for zoning because it's cheaper. And they're gonna buff the zoning as well because they're gonna allow you to cancel the recovery of this tornado into the draw of the knife. So this is pretty slow, as you can see. They're gonna make you cancel the recovery so you can use a knife, get access to it quicker, right? Now, if they block this knife, you're gonna be very plus on block, +3. So this is also gonna serve as a frame trap, so that's also a buff. And his buttons, let's not even start about his buttons. His buttons are way, way better now. This used to be a 5-frame button. They're gonna buff this into a 4-framer. That's always good. Stand light punch, they're gonna let you cancel this into an EX Ruffian. So you can now spend a bar and get a lot of damage from just a light confirm into a really good knockdown, because you knock them down with the best knockdown, right? Light Ruffian. So doing this into this is gonna be a thing, right? Or this is gonna be a thing. None of that works here. So that's really big change, right? Crouching medium punch, they're going to reduce the pushback on block and they're going to make it +4 on block, making it a real frame trap. So you can now use it as a thick button and you can stab him 4 times, right? And it's +4 on block, so this is all frame traps. So more range because the pushback is less, better on block. It's a much better move, right? Next up is medium punch. This great button here has excellent range and is the start of his target combo. So his target combo, medium punch, heavy punch. This is the staple of his knife play because this can go into a ruffian here. Get a good knockdown and good damage. This is 11 frames in Season 3. They're going to buff this to be in 8 frames. So this is much better in neutral. And it's going to combo if you counter hit this slash right here. So this is basically the entire game plan of the V-Trigger 1. You see Cody players stab with this all the time. If this counter hits, this heavy punch here, you can go into the medium punch, into the heavy punch, into the EX Ruffian. Then you can do a crouching heavy punch because this is going to anti-air and be used in combos. So hit into this, into this, into this, and then you do the crouching heavy punch into the ruffian. You get an entire combo, and none of that is possible right now, which is a big problem. So if you use this heavy punch here, you can go into a light punch into the ruffian. This doesn't work. You can go into the medium punch, heavy punch. This doesn't work. So all you really get is this crouching medium punch, and then you can go into the rapid slash, which is a whole other problem by itself, because if you use the rapid slash twice, your entire bar is depleted, right? They're also gonna buff rapid slash so that you can use it 3 times instead of 2 times, which is good. But most importantly, about all of these changes, the most important is if you hit this as a counter hit here, you can now go into the target combo. If you do crouching light punch, crouching light kick for instance, you're still going to be in range for a stand light punch, and that stand light punch is going to combo into the EX Ruffian. So his combo routes are way better, you can get way more damage. So all you really have to do with this knife is just slash with that heavy punch. This goes like half a screen, and if that happens to hit, you're going to get rewarded with a massive damage. And if you have an opponent that blocks a lot, you're going to keep him in throw range here, through mix-up option. This knife is way better. Alright, next up is this V-Trigger 2, the pipe. Let me grab it here. And this already was a good V-Trigger, but they also buffed this a lot. And his buffs are subtle, but it's going to make him better either on hit, on whiff, against escapes. Let me show you what it means. First of all, just getting the command grab here, doesn't matter if you get the perfect hit or just a normal hit, he's gonna get 10 more damage. So him taking this risk here is gonna be better, right? He's gonna get more damage from that. That's good. Next up, let's say people neutral jump that because they fear the command grab. If they neutral jump this, he can anti-air with crouching heavy punch, and this is gonna be 1 frame faster. So it goes from 10 frames to 9 frames, more responsive. And it's going to put people who jump into a float state, meaning he can now go into a medium ruffian, and he can pick up a CA from that combo, right? If you neutral jump this, and he goes for a regular throw, he can react with crouching heavy punch, and get a lot of damage from the same situation. So neutral jumping is no longer a really good answer. Later in the game, they're going to introduce V-shift, and if Cody does a throw and a V-shift that, he's going to be +9, meaning this crouching heavy punch has massive range, it's 9 frames, so he can punish you and get a lot of damage, right? Really good. So those are big differences. Now in regular combos, it's also a lot better because if he hits Zonk, he can go into either an upswing or a swing. And they're going to make it so that you can do both. You can upswing and then go into a swing. And in this version of the game, you can do that. Let me show you. Going to zone, upswing, and I'm pressing swing, and that doesn't combo, right? It doesn't cancel. So that already means that his max combo damage is going to be a lot lower because you missed an entire special move. So on hit, he gets better combos. Against neutral jumps, he has a way better punish. Against V-shift, he has a better punish. Also counter hit combos. Medium kick is +9 on counter hit. You can pick this punish up, so that doesn't work either. So his combo damage, punishing escapes, and just hitting a command grab are all going to be much more rewarding. So yeah, much better on V-Trigger 2. His V-skills. His V-skill 1 is a double kick here. This has invincibility from frame 3. They're going to reduce the recovery of this move here by a whopping 11 frames. That means if you knock him down here, if you dash up, you're going to be -19, I think? Yeah. I'm going to make it 11 frames faster. You're going to be -1 here. Yeah, this is -12. -12, sorry. -12. You can just feel how lethargic he feels when he moves, right? So this knockdown is a lot better. -1 is not something you want to be dashing after, but if you hit this, you can just walk up here. You can meet them now with a button, right? So hit that, forward medium kick, for instance. Put him under pressure after getting the knockdown, right? So that's good. They happen to block this and don't expect it. You're only -18, so you're gonna get hit. You're gonna get punished probably like swept or something. If they don't expect it, if they do expect it, they're gonna crush counter you. But -18 is this. It's annoying, right? It's kind of like Urian's EX headbutt. You can miss that punish pretty easily. So V skill 1 is definitely better now. But he doesn't have V skill 2 in this version of the game, which is also a massive nerf, because his V skill 2 is clearly the better V skill in the eyes of most pro players, because his defense kind of sucks, and the V skill 2 lets him dodge attacks, either projectiles or hits. So not having the V skill 2 is also a massive downgrade to his defense. So way better V trigger 1 with the knife, slightly better V trigger 2 with the pipe, a better V skill 1, and lacking the V skill 2. So his V system also was way worse on release.